Universe. You are live and direct with the Marvelous Talk team. Of course, that would be Big G. Max, what's up, you guys? How y'all guys doing tonight?
Still upset over Morbius. Not with the movie. The fact I paid for the tickets. That's it.
The fact that you paid for the ticket.
Yeah,
that's
I got bamboozled.
You got swindled. You were hoodwinked.
Yeah. They sold me a false bill of goods.
Max, don't feel bad because I bought into it too, so don't feel bad.
I'm just be honest, man.
Group.
Sony should stop. Sony should stop.
They should.
But before we get into that, man, let's just look. If you like the content that you're getting, make sure you like and subscribe. Like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. Definitely we are here for you and yours. We are gonna get started, man. There is so much to cover, so much to talk about. I'm telling you, I am so excited to get into the new Doctor Strange trailer, to get into the fact that they released some tickets. And then the fact that Morbius sucks, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Definitely right after this. And we are back here in Marvelous Land. Man, listen, first and foremost, let's go on and get the trash movie out the way. Let's talk about that. So 2 of the 3 people have actually went to go see it. The third had said and made up in his mind once he saw the 19 rating, I was not going. So I'm going to let you know who that was. The other 2 have actually went to go see it. And Mac, talk to me, man. What did you think about Morbius?
I texted both of you during the movie. This thing sucks. There's no character development. There's nothing good about this movie. I don't think Jared Leto was good. It's just a crappy attempt to bring in vampires to the MCU, and there's just no direction. It was just pushed together, mushed. It's just typical Sony crap.
Yeah, Sony and everything. Yeah. And Big G, you haven't saw it, man. What do you think, man? Give me your take on it.
It's the worst combination of Sony / MCU / whatever you want to call movie that's ever been produced. They wasted all kind of money, time, effort, and energy to bring a movie to the big screen that really doesn't have any tie-in except for what happened at the end, which they tried to reverse Spider-Man No Way Home to bring people in. I mean, but to me, the worst part about all of it, and this spoiler alert for those that's out there, is that half of the stuff that you saw for the trailers wasn't even in the movie. That's the worst part of it. Oh, it wasn't even. Max, am I lying? It wasn't in the movie. It wasn't in the movie.
What was the overall big problem with the movie, Sean, in your guess?
They took too much time to try to develop a character that really didn't have a character development. And then they tried to mash everything in at the end to tie everything to what's currently going on in the MCU and Sony. And then try to say, okay, we're going to start the Sinister Six off of this. Sony's just money hungry. That's just, to me, the worst parts of it all.
There's no scene in the movie where, let's take Iron Man, for example. You know that scene where in Iron Man 1 where Tony's replacing his arc reactor in his chest and Pepper comes in and they put it in together?
Yeah.
There's no scene like that in the movie where you're dang, I just want to see these people talk, and you're seeing how Tony is. He's actually a good dude. You can see he's changed. There's nothing like that in this movie. It literally starts off on a cliff with a helicopter. They're collecting bats. He's developing the cure. They have one little flashback, and then they're doing something else. There's just no transition time. It's literally all we're on the move. We're on the move. And then, Sean, the worst scene in the movie is when they killed his mentor.
Oh, yeah.
He gets there.
That was horrible.
He gets murked. He doesn't even say anything. He says one thing. As he's getting killed, the bad guy, his friend, Milo, kills his lover. Like,
right.
There's no
the
like
other scientist. Right.
There's no build up to it. It just happens, and you're like, you can't even see him be like, "Oh no, don't do it." It sucked.
Right. And so they left Morbius. They left him out on a cliff like he's this homeless person with no character development and no tie-ins as far as other characters. And Max is 100% right. This is horrible.
Well, here we go, man. We spent 5 minutes on a horrible movie, and I think that was 5 minutes way too long. Definitely, Big G. I know you're excited. You've been excited all week. I spoke about definitely Moon Knight last week, the first episode. Max made a good point about the goldfish. Definitely, you see that on our TikTok where he was talking about the goldfish being bad memory. But this episode, G, tell us about this episode. Let's run through this episode and what you saw. Spoilers, you guys. Hey, if you have not seen it, back out of this episode, come back. All right, go ahead, G. Give us a little recap, a brief recap of what we saw.
So I'm not going to kill a lot of the spoilers. That'll be part of our conversation, but just a little brief recap. The episode is called "Bring on the Suit" or "The Suit" or "Bring Out the Suit." I think it should be called "From Sand We Begin and Sand We Shall End," because the whole runtime of the show was building up their epic return to Egypt. So you can finally really find out what happened to Mark Spector, a.k.a. Moon Knight, a.k.a. Mr. Knight, a.k.a. Mr. Stevens. I mean, you can find out what's going on with this guy. But even more so, I think it's more of a perspective about how Khonshu, one of the elder gods, and I don't know if they're calling the Hippopolitans or the Inama, I don't know how they're going to call them, and how this guy has had multiple different people that played out what he wanted to be done in our reality. And you still really see how this concept or ideology of the anti-hero is being built into a character right in front of our face. And so G, that's just what I say.
Speaking of that, G, speaking of the anti-hero, you were the one who coined it and actually were on it from the very beginning when we started with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Definitely you start saying, hey, man, you're going to see the introduction of the anti-hero. And we were talking about Namor coming into the MCU. But, man, go ahead, man. Continue to expound.
Well, also, like I said, with the Elder Gods, you're really seeing more and more little Easter eggs and clues tied into this show, tying Moon Knight to, prospectively, Black Panther as well as Thor, right? There was even a part or a section in the beginning where he was reading books that talked about Asgard and Wakanda. It was right on the table because I watched it on regular and then I watched it in 8K. And I was like, wow, this dude's actually studying Elder Gods. So that's setting up everything from Chatan to all these other different things you're going to see. And you're going to find out that a lot of our heroes that's tied to what we think is regular old superheroes are actually avatars that play out something for Elder Gods who are in a higher plane. So this show has got all of that wrapped into one, and the reveal of multiple characters, even his girlfriend, which is not an original comic book character, which is not an original comic book character. They made this person up, but I think she adds to the development and moving the storyline along. And we'll talk about that later, how she's going to play a pivotal role in the development of this Moon Knight character.
Yeah, so honestly, man, the takeaways for this, definitely there are a couple of things. Number one, finding out that Khonshu had another avatar before Mark Spector as well. And the question that you have to pose is, what happens after Khonshu leaves his avatar? He found his avatar dead. Is his avatar still going to be dead without Khonshu? We don't know that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's one of those things that kind of hit me, and that was a question, right? Max, what did you think about that part when you found out that the other guy with the cane was the avatar for Khonshu before Mark Spector was?
Well, it just kind of brought me back to what we talked about the first week, and I think it was our parting shot where that was the theme of the episode, Avatar. We talked about it. I had it marked down in my notes. They said it 3 times in the episode. And after Big G and me and you had all discussed it, it just seems like we kind of were right in a sense. We kind of called it, and I don't know if that's great insight, but we just kind of put the puzzle pieces together where this is going to be a thing moving forward. You're preparing the MCU audience to see what an avatar is. It's not a blue person. It's not an airbender. It's the guy who's Moon Knight's controlling. And he made a reference at the end of the episode. He said, I have my eyes set on someone new.
Yeah.
It's kind of a threat in a way. So
no, it was a threat. It wasn't kind of a threat. And then we kind of, the funny thing about that, Max, is that you see now why Max allowed Steven to actually take over. Because with Steven taking over, there was no risk of his wife being found by Khonshu. But one of those things, Khonshu is, look, we got to do X, Y, and Z. And then all of a sudden that's why he kept telling him, stop, don't do this. Stop, don't do this. Stop, don't do this. G, what did you think when you found out that Khonshu's avatar previous was Kane guy? And what's his name again? Let's not call him
Arthur.
Arthur or Amir. They call him Arthur or Amir.
Right.
It just depends on which way you want to talk about it. What the issue is, it plays directly into the comic books, man. Khonshu, so little known fact about them comic books, right? Khonshu, in the possession of a human being as an avatar, was an actual member of the West Coast Avengers. And I'm talking about, this is before Moon Knight was a West Coast Avenger. Khonshu was a West Coast Avenger. So Khonshu has always been playing this game to get back to our reality. So I like how they set it up in the movie to say, basically, Khonshu's got this whole idea that he can get back to our reality through people versus doing something to actually bring himself and all the elder gods or whatever you want to call them, the Helipolitans or whatever, who's out in these different realms, back to our reality. So I'm really digging the fact that now Khonshu's almost become an essential character. And is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he an anti-hero? Is he self-serving? I don't know yet. I can't figure it out.
I know. I can figure it out. He's self-serving. Buddy is self-serving. He's all about Khonshu. Khonshu, and he was right when he said that he's a toddler. He has the mind of a toddler. He was definitely right about that. Khonshu has jokes for days, and he wants his way. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you think Khonshu loves Khonshu more than Kanye loves Kanye?
I bet they're the same person. It's the same sound. Kanye, Khonshu, same sound. You know what I'm saying?
They kind of have the same energy in a sense.
You know what I'm saying? Kanye might be Khonshu. Who knows? The gist of the matter is that one of the things that was super sad to me, and is figuring out that Steven is not just a trauma response, and he's not just a made up person in Mark Spector's mind. Steven is actually who Mark wants to be. How do we know that? Right? I'm going to show you. He said, once we finish this, I'm going to move. I'm going to be out your life for good. Right?
Yeah.
Mark, I believe Mark is the person who has to be there. Steven is the person who wants to be there. And that's the difference between those. Right? What about this, Max? I mean, what do you think about that line of thought?
I mean, I see what you mean in the sense that just, Mark has honestly been through something traumatic. He's literally been at the beck and call at this entity for a long time, and he's been forced to do things he doesn't want to do. And you kind of saw that towards the end of the episode. I don't know. Should we start working our way towards the end of the episode, or just bounce around? What do you guys want to do?
We can continue to talk about it. Let's flow.
Okay, let's do it. So just you saw at the end, right, where he steps on the glass, and you was just like that to me was a big part of the episode where he stomps out Steven. It was kind of like, you're going away now, and you could see how Steven's innocent in a sense. He's all good. He's like, you guys are gonna kill children? I don't really get down with that.
Yeah, right. Hey, I don't know if y'all peeped it, but I almost got the Bruce Banner Incredible Hulk-like feel with those two entities talking back with each other. So I love how Kevin Feige depicted them as the same person inside a person, but two different ideas on how this thing can get done. And it depends on who's in control or which way the story is going to go. So I love that aspect of, okay, we got another person that's got another identity, a true identity, and they're at each other, per se, trying to take control.
And I think they did their job in the production of this episode in a way, because I felt something. Anytime that you can watch a series and they pull emotion out of you, you know what I'm saying? They've done their job, right? And I was mad at Steven for not surrendering the body to Mark so that Mark could defend them, right?
Yeah, but you can't. I feel like Steven has a valid point, though, for not wanting to.
He did. So I was mad at Steven for that. But then I felt him. He was like, okay, let me do it, because if I do it, at least it won't go over the top. You know what I mean? And then he figured out, oh, no, it's not going to happen. I can't handle that.
So we literally saw a personality split in that aspect that you're talking about, Mon, because that's what Mr. Knight is. Mr. Knight is the Moon Knight avatar with Steven in control, right? You see what I'm saying? Because even like when he was fighting the Jackal and he cracked him, he was like, wow, how'd I learn to punch like that? Where'd I get that type of power and strength? You see what I'm saying? So we saw him split into another character literally on screen. When he was falling out of the window and he landed as Mr. Knight, I was like, that's the first time that had ever happened with Mark and Steven both trying to take control. So I was like, wow. So now we got 4 dudes inside this dude versus 3, so it's like it's every, I almost feel like we're going to get a different guy every episode. Every episode we're going to get a different dude added onto the dissociative personality disorder.
And so we talked about that. We talked about that, G, and I know Max had something to say, but we talked about that. I almost feel like that these are the only 2 characters that we're going to get from Moon Knight. I just feel like he's going to focus on these 2 and kind of blow the story up from here. But who knows? I mean, you're right in a sense, because that is a different character. The suit, I mean, that's not the suit. That was his idea. That was Steven's idea of a suit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he turned it to the suit, and that's what that was.
So, like right now, I guess we're at the point where there's Steven, there's Mark, and would you say there's Moon Knight? Those are the 3 main guys inhabiting the body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the percentage right now?
Knight.
Mr. Knight. So if we want to throw in that Mr. Knight, let's just say 30% Steven, 50% Mark, 10 and 10. What's that look like at the end of the episode? Do they find the 25 like split all across the board? Does Mark become kind of take over? Steven take over? Does Moon Knight? What does that look like 2 episodes from now, or even an episode from now, especially as they transition back to Egypt?
That's a great question, but they've given you the answer already. You keep hearing the statement, embrace the chaos. Right?
Yeah.
So embracing the chaos means that you take all of them and it becomes one. Right?
Yeah.
So I think all of the percentages go out the window, and I think they learn how to function as one person. I wouldn't even be surprised if he grabbed his hands and they're balanced now. The scales are balanced once they're finished. You know what I mean? Like this guy has learned to listen to every facet or every piece of himself. They're all working together as one. Because, I mean, think about it. If he came together as one, you know how powerful he would be?
I was just thinking that, man. I promise you, I was just thinking that. And I was like, man, that's the perfect anti-hero. See, because you got to build heroes that can fight villains on that level. So this guy is like, can fight magic because he can see stuff can't nobody else see. He can fight on the human side. It's a lot of stuff going on with Moon Knight, man.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think about that, Max? What do you think about them becoming balanced at the end?
I just think once you figure out a way to, like you said it best. When you find a way to figure out the balance, it's going to let everything just be more effective, and he's going to be much stronger. It's almost like when Hulk in Infinity War was fighting with Bruce, and it was like, you'll never be as strong if you can't buy into the Hulk.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. I'm digging that, man. I'm digging it.
Definitely. But even then, when he was Professor Hulk, he didn't have the rage, or he had the strength of Hulk, but he didn't have the rage to just go and tear people apart. You know what I mean? He wasn't hulking out, you know. So definitely, I think there needs to be a balance, and I think they'll find that balance to where, you know, he'll just, you know, whoop people within the inch of their life, and, you know, take all of these other ones, like, you know, in the first episode where the dog was trying to run away and got mauled. You know, I think that's the kind of stuff that we're going to see from Moon Knight when definitely he gets himself together. Because what they did do, and I meant to say this, when Stephen was running with the bag, they showed how manic and how crazy and how scary Stephen is, right?
Yeah.
But then they went back and they painted, it wasn't scary. They painted it as concerned about life, concerned about people, concerned about things. When he was sitting down at the table and he was speaking to my man about, hey, well, if you're going to kill kids for something that they ain't did yet, man, that's not right. That's not right. Right. So they painted this whole character, and they made him into, I think, he is the balance of Mark Spector. I think he is the balance. He's the yang, and Mark is the yin. You know what I'm saying? So yin and yang, they balance each other out.
Did you have a favorite scene of the show? Either of this episode, I should say. Is there a favorite scene you guys have liked from this episode?
Yeah, I definitely do. I got two of them, but I'll just tell you about the one. I love the interaction between Khonshu dealing with Arthur and dealing with Steven, aka Mark, all at the same time. I like that whole interaction because it's almost like Arthur knew what Khonshu was saying to him and was like, don't buy into it. And it's almost like there was that moment that happened where Arthur called Khonshu's bluff. And he was like, he's lying to you. I'm telling you because I know, and I'm a former Avatar. And then Stephen was like, say what? You used to work for this dude? And Mark, if you remember back on the bread, that's when Mark shrunk down and he was like, oh no, he about to tell him the truth. And so it's like he didn't want that. And I love that interaction because you're building that into the character. Like, is Khonshu lying? Is Arthur lying and working for a mid? Who's lying? So that was like one of my favorite scenes. You know, Mod,
I think my favorite scene was where Mark took over and they were running on the roof, and he was like, you know, come on. He caught him and just impaled him. I was like, yes.
On the jackal, yeah.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Haul him out. Yeah. Haul him out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was so dope. The way he did it, I thought it was dope. I thought the visual effect there, the CGI was dope. It was boss. I loved it. That was my favorite scene. Max, what was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene was actually the discussion that Mark / Steven were having with Lila in the apartment, and they had the French poem. I looked it up online. First I had my sister translate because she speaks French. Then I looked it up online. She was right. I had to just, fact check her. And then it translates to, I am sad. I want my light put out. Summers in your absence are as dark as a room. It's basic. The story tells of two lovers who are separated, hence the title of the poem. What is that? That sounds just like Mark and Lila. They're separated.
Right.
What is Moon Knight? Basically, it's in the name, Moon, which would indicate darkness. And the summers are dark, and it's a light versus dark thing. And I just think it was a perfect placement in the episode, and it just kind of encapsulated a lot about this episode in a sense where it's light versus dark. Mark's an absent lover, and he doesn't want to be absent. He's doing it to protect her. You heard that because Khonshu knows. Khonshu's like, okay, you don't want to be my avatar? I'll find one. I got one real close.
Yeah, we got one real close. And then, the crazy thing, the fact that you said that, it could go both ways. Not only just, Layla and Mark, but how about Stephen and Mark?
Yeah.
The same person, right? So the poem could apply to them two as well, right?
Yeah.
Like dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's dope that you picked that out, man. That's dope that you picked that out. Well, switching gears a little bit, man. Today, the tickets went on sale for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Yo. First and foremost, we've already got ours. We got ours.
No.
We're going to the 11:05 movie. I'm probably gonna see it twice that day. I'm probably gonna be in saw it 3 times the weekend. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm definitely gonna get it in so that way I will know exactly what the movie's saying. Number one, the fact that it's 2 hours and 6 minutes, you guys. I mean, come on. That means
they chopped that runtime down, man.
What's 2 hours? Like, seriously, I mean, come on. How long was Infinity War?
3.
Like 3?
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
Y'all been training us to sit.
Right.
But no, what they've done is they put together a series of movies. So they took the introduction of this movie away. You've been introduced. Loki, Spider-Man No Way Home, and
WandaVision.
Yeah. Right. So those 3, they've already introduced what they're introducing, and now you see it, right? They got it. Now, all you're gonna get now from here on out is wall-to-wall action. That's what you're gonna get. This is gonna be one of the most action-packed movies because literally, I don't have to take time to develop the plot. The plot's already developed.
Well, isn't that the brilliance of the MCU machine? It's just, hey, we figured out a way to prepare people. And I always tell people this. It's like, think about Thanos. If I told you Thanos existed after Iron Man 1, you'd be like, okay, that sounds stupid. There's going to be 20 movies tied in. But once you just get people ready for it, right? So they've already started preparing for the multiverse since WandaVision. It was like false reality. So we're going to build it up. We're going to have a little different. Loki, the timelines. Oh, different realities. Oh, look at this Loki. There's all these multiples of them. And No Way Home, same thing. It's like, oh, look at these different dimensions. This is what makes Marvel special compared to Fox, Sony, DC. Sorry, guys. That they're able to build the world and they just use other shows to build up a movie. Doctor Strange had no input on WandaVision. He was not part of the show. Nothing. Right. And yet they perfectly introduced what's going to be the theme of this movie, the multiverse, or the main focus. It doesn't matter who he fights. It's not about him. It's about the multiverse. It's just preparing us. And if you get the casual person, and that's no shot at anyone casual, and like I knew the multiverse, you guys knew the multiverse was a thing before. You watch the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, there's a multiverse, there's 6 Spider-Man.
Right.
All that stuff, and if people haven't seen it and you explain there's other versions, oh, that's stupid. It just, they prepared it beautifully. That's what makes them special, man. And that's what's going to make this movie special.
Absolutely. I totally agree 110%, Max. And when I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it, man, shout out to my boy Dan, man. Dan, kind of hit me with some stuff. I'm going to tell you, man, I'm not ruining the movie for nobody. I just feel like we're going up from here, man. And this is, we thought No Way Home was like the pinnacle of, a lot of us said Endgame was number 1. It was number 1. And then Spider-Man No Way Home was number 2. Bro, I think this is going to eclipse both of them, to be real with you. I think it's going to eclipse both of them because, A, you're going to get wall-to-wall action. You're going to get multiple deaths, right? You're going to end up getting multiple deaths, like right off the rip. People are, how can you not? But they're not really dying. They're just dying in one dimension. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's so many different multi-universes that we got going on. People are going to be dying, and you're going to be like, oh, shoot, but they still alive in another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I forgot the biggest one. What If? That show's whole premise is introduce you to the crazy realities that don't really exist in the MCU film universe. You know what I mean? Just the films, you never see that stuff. It's like, What if T'Challa was Star-Lord? What if Thanos was like a good dude?
Facts.
And
Right.
I mean, I feel like we're gonna be like Big G here. Like every time we think the bar is at the highest, they reset it.
They reset it.
Yeah.
But
go ahead,
but Max, I've been calling that forever. I've been saying it every time.
Well, you say every show. I mean,
right,
you're losing a little credibility. Every show goes up a little.
It does. It does.
So Morbius brought it down a little, right?
Yeah, but see, but this is the issue. This is the issue about that. See, I don't count none of that Sony stuff into the MCU.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to count it because it's like the scale on Arthur's arm. It's got to balance. So Sony's got to just bring it down a little bit.
Got to bring it down a little bit.
You don't want it to turn into the old man or the old woman.
Right, but when I count my scale, I'll be like, I look over at them like, nah, I'm straight. You know, I'm just gonna keep rolling with MCU productions, and the bar literally goes up. Man, I've never seen a production company do what they do, and you know, like with this, what Ma was saying about, you know, the whole runtime of 206. You got to remember when we was originally told the runtime was going to be 242. So that's the only thing that's making me nervous. Like if we were told it was 242, now they just chopped it down to 206, and we know we're going to get at least 2, possibly 3 post-credit and mid-credit scenes. Yeah, it's going to run 11 minutes. It's like, man. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my goodness, man.
But Big G, the gist of the matter is that it's gonna tie it up in a bow. They land planes. Kevin Feige is a professional pilot. He's going to land the heck out of this plane. He landed Spider-Man No Way Home perfectly, right? So I definitely see him landing the plane of this movie. And look, dude, it's going to go up just another hitch again. I think this is going to be one of the best Marvel movies we've seen, and I'm super excited. Now, Max, before you go into I got to say this. Wanda's kids, bro. Wanda's kids. We've seen Wanda's kids in the trailer that was released today. And this is why I think Wanda is going to go back berserk bonkers. And she is going to be our villain in this whole thing because of the simple fact that her kids. We heard in the post-credit scene that she was fooling. First of all, she never should have got the dark hole. You know how some people shouldn't get certain things? Like me, I shouldn't have got a hamburger because when I got a hamburger, it was over with. I like food at that point. You know what I'm saying? And it just destroyed my body. It's like Wanda should have never got.
Jesus Christ.
Never got the dark hole, bro. Like, I mean, the dark hole took her to a whole new place. It took her to a whole new place.
So what you said about Doctor Strange is going to wrap up this whole thing like in a bow. So like you said, Kevin Feige is a pilot, right? My question is this the end destination, Doctor Strange? Like I would say the multiverse is its own little flight, right? So we started in New York with WandaVision. We had like a connecting flight here, connecting flight there, and you can like pencil in What If and all the other shows. Is this it? Or is Quantumania the bow that's going to wrap it up? So what's the thing? Like, is this the end? Or is this just a stop on the road?
No, so it's like he took off for a flight, like out in California, and he's landing like in the Alps, and they're gonna switch planes, and he's going to the moon.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you, some of the some of the stuff that me and Ma know that we can't really say or share because we don't want our stuff to get struck, that we know is going to happen in this to be true. Man, the post-credit scenes is gonna be off the chain. It's gonna be off the chain, man.
We can definitely say certain things, but what I don't want is our listeners to be kind of, you know, I don't want to see the movie now because they didn't told it. You know, definitely.
Right, I ain't gonna tell.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. There's some stuff out there you could see it yourself, but from, you know, a lot of the plot leaks and the things that we've heard, man, it's going to be phenomenal. Like I said, action wall to wall, people dying left and right. And they've shown us some of this really in the trailer. You know what I'm saying? They showed the wedding scene. They showed a bus being thrown. They showed these monsters out here throwing stuff. You know, they showed Doctor Strange being put in prison and being put in a box and waking up with the locks off of him. They've showed us now America Chavez in the box and somebody coming in about to wreck shop on that whole thing, and she looking like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? At this point, like I said, they've shown us a lot, right? And keep in mind that, and I wanted to kind of focus on this before I'm done with this whole thing here. Wanda and her kids, hearing her kids, right? When she was listening and she was outside making coffee, outside drinking, back in to make coffee, and then she heard her kids, she was astral projecting, which is key for this movie, right? I'm gonna tell you why it's key. She can astral project in different universes. Her physical body can't go to different universes.
Correct.
That's what makes her a Nexus being. It's the fact that she can astral project herself. She exists in every universe, and she can astral project herself there to every universe. Her physical body can't go.
Right. Spider-Man is the same thing. You saw it in Spider-Man No Way Home. Doctor Strange knocked the astral projection out that dude, and then he went to go snatch the box, and Spider-Man was doing like this. Like, wait a minute, how he ain't even in there. How is that happening? He's a Nexus being too. You know, look at Nexus being. You know, whether you like, that's why they've been wiping them out. That's why they wiped out Sylvie, because he exists in every plane and in every universe. So that Nexus being means a whole lot. And I think you're going to see that played on big time with Wanda Maximoff, a.k.a. Scarlet Witch.
Man, I just want to, can we just jump to like the Doctor Strange preview podcast we're going to do, man? I'm so excited for this freaking movie. And maybe Morbius. Morbius like scaled it in. So like, I mean, I'm gonna circle back real quick. I agree with everything you guys said. It's gonna be off the chain. It's gonna be game changing. So if like the MCU is a scale, right? MCU is typically good, right?
Right.
Does if you combine all the other superhero franchises, is it balanced of like bad? Like if you take all of DC, which is gonna like be bad, Morbius, Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, what's another bad superhero movie? Watchmen, throw that in there. Like is MCU still Trump them?
First class, and yeah, they're still.
So like, how balanced is that scale? I'm just curious what you guys think.
Well, I mean, the MCU has done so well that they can carry all of that. Like, I'm just gonna tell you. So there's the Beatles. There's this whole thing about, if you know anything about music, just real quick, you know anything about music, the Beatles were horrible with money, absolutely horrible. They signed away their rights early and all of it. And they made they made so much money that them being bad with money didn't count, right? That's the MCU. The MCU is so good. All this other stuff, you'd be like, okay, you know, I'm not as disappointed because I still got this. You know
yeah, I mean? I think the good outshines the bad.
Oh, I got the perfect analogy, man. This is perfect. Like the MCU is like we're playing spades and we're playing Joker, and the deuces. Like the MCU got Joker, deuce, ace, king, jack, two other aces and a king, and they looking across their partner like, I just need you to lead right or play one card right, and we got this thing locked down. You know, and so that's the MCU's got all the cards, and they're just looking for the other place. Just play one right. You could be trash with Morbius. You could be trash with X-Men, this and that. You could be trash with Fantastic Four. But we just need you to get one of these Jokers right. So when we do, we can bring him in. You know, so that's how I think they feel about everybody else, man. They playing cards and they got a loaded hand, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's a good one, Sean. It's like basically like their partner's like, hey, just don't bid like zero and we got this, and then they bid zero and you're like, oh my God, I hate you.
Oh my God, like I got to do this all by myself. I know you got one over there. Like
it's like your partner bid zero and they have the ace of spades and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know you got one, dog. Like I know you got one.
Make a jack boss. Do something. You know, make a jack walk. Lead the king of diamonds so that way I know all the rest of them and I can cut. You know, just do something like that for me. Put me in the game, coach. You know, because I got everything else. You just got to act right one time, and that's all. That's all they need. Sony and Universal and them act right one time. Get us in the game, and then we got the rest. That's how I think they feel. Yep,
we got the rest. And you know, switching gears. Last thing here, we've been doing this thing where we've been casting, like we're talking about the actual casting of movies, and we've already went through the Iron Mans, and we were saying, Terrence Howard, you kind of did yourself, bro. Like you were the best roadie. You messed off a good role. And then we got into the Thors this last time. Who we got up now, Mex?
Well, I was debating either between maybe the original Incredible Hulk or like the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk. I was gonna go with maybe, I don't know. I was like debating a lot, so I wasn't sure. So I pulled some random ones out of my hat. Will that work this week? It's not a specific movie.
Yeah, let's go random.
So what did you like? I'm gonna throw back. What did you think of Willem Dafoe in the original Spider-Man trilogy, like the first one?
You're talking about as the Goblin, right?
As the Goblin, yeah. I mean, he's somewhat of a scientist, also. I've heard
he handles it. He handles the role. I give him a B.
I'm with you, Ma, but my only thing is that I think he was the Goblin, but he wasn't Norman Osborn.
Because he didn't have waves, or what?
Yeah. He got the reverse waves in the comic book. Him and his son, him and Norman Jr. Right? But it's just like he wasn't Norman Osborn, and I think that's the critical part about anybody who's a duality character. They gotta be able to pull off both sides.
The mind was bugged though. That's what gave me when he jumped out and he jumped on top of the little crate with
he got the crazy eyes. Yeah.
He won on that. That's why I gave him
B too. He kind of moved it up when he came back for No Way Home. B for sure. B plus, I'd say.
Yeah. I agree.
Are you guys and then I would say, are you guys a fan of Edward Norton as the Hulk?
No. I give him like a C- D plus, man.
So Edward Norton.
He's such a good actor, though, when you think about it. But maybe the Hulk's just not it.
So Edward Norton is a B. The only reason why Mark Ruffalo beats him out, I'm gonna tell you why. The only reason why Mark Ruffalo beats him out is he's more believable as a scientist to me. Mark Ruffalo is more believable as a scientist than Edward Norton. Edward Norton has more of a rough edge about him, and he's not as vulnerable as Mark Ruffalo is. Mark Ruffalo, he can be very vulnerable as a character, and I like that. You need that in Banner. You know what I mean? Banner he's one of those that, he's really by his own depiction a weakling, but the Hulk makes him, this overgrown, strong guy. But Edward Norton doesn't capture that for me.
That proves my theory. You got to play both sides. But I think that Mark Ruffalo is going to show up and show out in She-Hulk. I just got the strangest feeling that in this upcoming She-Hulk series, he's going to show up and show out. So that's why I'm rolling with Mark Ruffalo and giving Edward Norton like a C- D plus.
I mean, Mark Ruffalo gets an A. You know what I'm saying? He gets an A for,
Hey, save the Mark Ruffalo. We haven't got to him yet. We're touched out Edward Norton. Don't spoil it.
Edward Norton gets a B for me.
He was like more like a Hindu monk than a scientist in that movie. He was just I work on my breathing, heart rate. I'm at the glass plant. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
So then I got two more. This is a twofer. I don't know how you guys feel. I was like 12 at the time. I love Nick Cage as Ghost Rider, and I love the guy who played Carter Slade. I don't know that actor's name. He's a Western dude, but I love Ghost Rider, man. I like Nick Cage as him. I know he's a crappy actor.
So Nicolas Cage is another 50 Cent to me. Like I see
he's just Nick Cage.
Yeah, he's just Nick Cage. You see Nicolas Cage is himself in every movie.
But couldn't you see Nicolas Cage making a deal with the devil?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. That's my A plus. Bring him back.
The thing about Nicolas Cage to me, though, man, like I said, is you see Nicolas Cage. I saw him in Face Off was the same person I saw in Ghost Rider.
I didn't see Face Off. I saw he was looking the same guy in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Same guy Gone in 60 Seconds. Played the same dude. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, you know, he does all them little things with his eyes and his hands and stuff. It's like, yo, man, look, chill out. I see you. And that's the key to being a great actor, is to be able to get lost in the character and you see the character and not the actor.
Well, unlike Ahmad, I got bias for Nicolas Cage, because if I want to see anybody from the outside universe, outside of Ryan Reynolds coming for Deadpool, I want to see Nicolas Cage come back as Ghost Rider. You know, I ain't so much sold on Wesley Snipes, but I'm down 100 man down by grand that I would love to see Nicolas Cage play that role as Ghost Rider in the MCU. I think he would be perfect.
So you give him an A+ as Ghost Rider?
A or A+. I love Nicolas Cage in that role.
So
man.
then let's wrap up the casting with this question. If you could, so we know your answer is Nick Cage. If you could bring in one actor who was in an MCU or X-Men film and bring him back, who would you bring back and bring them into the MCU? Not an MCU film, but like a Marvel movie that's outside. Like for me, obviously it's a cop out, but like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, you can come on in anytime you want, bro.
Anytime you want. And I have a collection of actors that I really like. I like the new casting of Storm. I like her. I do like the girl they cast for I forget her name. She's the one who was fighting against them in she was with Apocalypse fighting against them.
Psycholock.
Psycholock. Yeah, she was cool.
I think she was a great
Can we also bring back Apocalypse just to get some Oscar Isaac on Oscar Isaac crime?
No, I don't like that. The gist of the matter, I love the young Professor X. I love the young Magneto. I think that those are good picks for those characters. I would love them. Would I bring Sansa back for Jean Grey? Absolutely not. I want another Jean Grey.
How is it possible that they cast the two most parts of X-Men and they came out with the crappy movie?
Because once again, look who did it, Max.
They actually did okay with X-Men. They went like 2 for 3, which is pretty good for them.
Yeah, 2 for
3.
Yeah.
No. X-Men.
Oh no, not the. No, I'm saying with the new ones. Yeah, the first 3. Yeah, okay. They went like 2 for 6.
All right, okay.
Yeah, that's 300. Yeah. That gets you the Hall of Fame if you're a baseball player.
Okay.
I think they're playing baseball. All we gotta do is bat 300, bro.
That's it. We got to bat 300.
Days of Future Past was a hit. First Class was a hit. The rest of them, it don't really matter. You know, to me.
I get you, yeah.
Yeah. And those are the people that I would and of course, you know, they've already brought in Patrick Stewart. I think Patrick Stewart.
Maybe that's who's he on play on Star Trek? Picard? Maybe that's Picard.
It's Picard.
That ain't Picard.
Picard, whatever his stupid name is.
That's Patrick Stewart, man, aka Professor Charles Xavier, man.
Yeah, man. So those would be my one. But here's the question you ask. And if there's anybody that I would love to see on the MCU, and they've had some fan art and fan movies done, Gambit.
Yeah.
I would like to see Gambit. I don't know about that actor who played him, who I can't even think of his name.
I want to see Remy LeBeau, and of course, you know, he was always my guy, Iceman, Bobby Drake. Those two characters, I just need to see more. I need to see more, man. Yeah. Those two characters to me are pivotal when we start talking about X-Men.
I think moving forward, who's the pivotal casting, in my opinion, is whoever they're going to cast as the Fantastic Four. That is like super duper pivotal.
They've had 8 tries.
Let me ask y'all a question. Two things. We got Tom Cruise. We know Tom Cruise is in the MCU somewhere.
Ugh.
Who is he going to be? And then we also know Keanu Reeves is in the MCU somewhere. Who is he going to be?
Well, I hope Tom Cruise is maybe just a guy walking by in an extra, because I can't stand him as an actor. So that's my bet. I hope so. But I think he's going to be some variant of Tony Stark.
He's this guy right here, the superior
Iron Man.
Ain't no sense much about a Cruise.
I thought you were pointing at yourself.
Nah. This guy right here over my shoulder, the Superior Iron Man comic #1. Got it, own it, you know. But I think that Keanu Reeves has got to be so big and so pivotal. He's going to be around for a couple of movies. So I can see them maybe casting Keanu Reeves as a bad guy. I don't think he fits Victor Von Doom, but maybe like a Galactus type guy. Or if they do Secret Wars, I would love to see him as the Beyonder. Oh my God!
He kind of has the flowy locks of hair.
Yes, he would fit perfect as the Beyonder, man. So if he's not going to be like a Galactus type figure, because we already got Kang, there's no way they're going to make him Victor Von Doom. So he's got to be something on that scale.
How you
man?
know?
There's no way.
He's been in the rabbit hole, man. Mod. Come on.
There's no way. But you know what though? He could be Mr. Fantastic though. He could be.
Nah, I think
he could be.
Yeah, I think that role is wrapped up by my guy and his wife. Those two roles,
Jimbo from The Office.
Yeah, that's locked up by him and his wife.
I hope they don't cast him.
What is wrong with him?
He's trash.
I think him and his wife both got those two roles.
They're great. You're a hater. God, you sound like Mod today.
Max, capital TRASH. Trash.
Like I have an amazing parting shot whenever we get there now because Sean just infuriated me.
We're actually here now. We're at our parting shots, man.
Can I start it?
You can start.
Sure.
Well, I have two quick ones. One, so do you think Big G is just like the Mark Spector to Sean Gurley? Do you think that's his like break personality?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. Sean, we're not talking.
I have dissociative identity disorder. There's about 12 of me rolling around up in here. So I'm telling you straight up. So, but yeah, Big G is the anti. Sean Gurley.
I think Big G is the Mark Spector.
Can you get the suit out, Big G, please?
No,
I might have it on next episode. The
suit has been on. The suit has been on a couple.
Oh yeah,
times.
sorry.
Yeah, it's been on a couple times.
Yeah, my real parting shot is: how many times do you think in this episode we said the word Avatar?
Oh, in the show?
In this show, we just did.
Oh, probably at least 12. At least 12.
Come on.
At least 12.
I think about 5 or 6.
It was exactly freaking 12.
Wow.
Yeah, I said about 12.
Who said it the
12.
most?
Me.
No, you were the least. Mod said it 5 times. I said it 4 times. Mod said it like 5 times in 2 minutes, and then he was good for the rest of the episode.
Wow.
Well,
that's all I got. Staying on the Avatar theme.
That's the thing. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Hey, my party shot. Listen. I know that we're anxious for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I know that Moon Knight is just knocking it out the park. But I'm telling y'all something, man. I done been down in the rabbit hole and Thor Love and Thunder. Man. Listen, man. Thor Love and Thunder, it's going to get ugly. If you think Doctor Strange is going to set the bar here, just wait till you get a hold of Thor Love and Thunder. I'm telling it is coming, man. It is. I know I'm telling the truth. It is coming, man.
The movie hadn't even have a trailer. And he's already declared. I'm telling you, he has a problem.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
So I could say this, on all of the digging, and I've been around the entrance of the rabbit hole. I ain't went in a couple of days, but I done been around the entrance, and everybody around the entrance is saying Thor Love and Thunder is actually going to be better than Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is crazy to me to even think that. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me to even think. But then when you think about it, you're going to have the Guardians of the Galaxy there, the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
And Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever is in November.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yes, it's about to be great.
We can't even, if it's not in the same season, it's not in the spring, we can't even talk about it. That's going to be the new rule for you, Sean. You are in way too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, way too ahead. So my parting shots here, man, is to keep your eyes focused on, make sure you go back and you look, first and foremost, you look at WandaVision. keep your eyes focused on Wanda Maximoff, because they have given us hints, and then they went away from them in the actual. So in the very beginning, they had Wanda ask a question to Doctor Strange, and she said, I break them, they look at me some kind of way, right? This is Wanda still dealing with the trauma that was presented to her during WandaVision. Mm-hmm. And you got to think that process ain't ran its course yet. She lost her brother. She lost Vision. She lost the kids. She ain't finished. You know what I'm saying? So keep your eyes peeled on Wanda Maximoff. Get acquainted. I tried to tell somebody already today, and they were like, I'm not going back watching those movies. But I tried to tell them, you need to get acquainted with Wanda Maximoff, because Wanda is going to be the driving force of this movie. And I also think she's probably going to be our big bad. That is my parting shot. And you guys, I thank you for watching. Make sure that if you loved what you saw, make sure you like and subscribe. Like it on Facebook, subscribe on Twitch and YouTube. We're definitely here for you and yours, man. I'm telling you, we had a good time. Listen, if you ain't bought your tickets to Multiverse of Madness, you're slipping, because I'm definitely going to tell you they're going to sell out. Theater's going to be packed, and it's going to be a movie that you wish that you're going to already have saw when it comes out. For myself, for Big G, for Max, we out of here. We'll holler at y'all on Saturday. Peace.